is it with guys thinking nowadays that we want their money? Honestly, I don't get that one.
Do you have male friends who you know like you?
Oh, here we go. I don't think I do right now.
As in, you don't think you have any male friends? You don't know if they like you?
I don't know if they like me. I feel like you're about to say, oh, like if you message one right now and say,
Oh, I wasn't
"Couldn't
gonna say that.
position."
Oh, I wasn't.
I
But
felt
that's
like
a good
he was.
point.
No, I felt like he was about to.
Either you share someone or you're single. What did you mean by that?
I let that one go, but I see how I was
She
wrong
let it
about
slide.
that. I see how I was wrong about that.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I have another great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and see what we can do to attract the kind of relationship that we want. So without further ado, please welcome Naz to the show. Naz, welcome.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great, yeah.
This is her first podcast, guys. This is her first one. We're going to be mean. No, joking. Never. You know, we always love constructive conversations. So I like to just jump in. So tell us your age or your age range, you know, about asking a lady her age, and one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take you on a date.
So like if like what a guy like me, like my preference and
Yeah, like what's one thing that a guy should know about you? Like be like, okay, this kind of girl, you know, I should do to either get her interest or to impress her. You know, what should he know about you and your age?
I mean, I don't know if okay, definitely my age matters in some sense, but I don't know. Like I feel like
Well, how old are you?
22.
22. Okay. And what do you like in a guy? What should you know?
I like confidence in a guy and
Okay.
just him to be very honest as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he like asks you on a date, he goes, "Hey, look, I know you from across the room, and I thought you were gorgeous. Can I take you out? Would that work with you?
Maybe.
Or does this depend on
It
whether you like the guy?"
It depends where I am, what the situation is, you know.
Yeah. Do you get guys approaching you that way a lot?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Honestly,
yes,
it's true.
Yes. Okay.
It happens, yeah.
And what makes you say, the guys that you've said yes to go on a date on, what was it about them that you were like, yeah, I'd like to see what this is about?
I guess it's just how they spoke to me and like, you know, the mannerisms in a way as well. Because if
Okay.
you're just like doing it in a very weird, creepy way, I guess it's just very like, I don't know, I'll be a bit
Yeah.
standoffish. But if it's more like, okay, cool, like, you know, you're quite friendly and you're not weird or anything, then yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll be
What's the
open to.
weirdest way a guys like try to ask you out?
I don't know. I remember this one time I was just out like having drinks and this guy like he came from his table. He just started like talking to me and everything, and it was like calm, but it went into too much of a conversation, you know. And I don't know. It was a bit too much, you know. I feel like, you know, if you come up to me and talk to me, keep yourself a bit reserved, you know.
Okay.
There should be more to find out for later, if that makes sense.
Did you feel like he was trying to share a lot because he was trying to impress you too much, or
Maybe, yeah,
was it
maybe I
just,
got
like,
that.
too intense of a conversation?
I think it was just more like he was sharing a lot because he was trying to impress, and I feel like it's fine, but I feel like you should keep it just a little bit reserved because it makes it more interesting.
I agree. Do you know what's really weird? The thing just came to me right now. It's like, you know, on dating apps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like imagine you're swiping as a guy, and you tell me, right? Because this is what I think I've said to guys. If you come across a guy's profile and his first profile is him of like a topless photo, that's like, you're like, nah, because it seems a bit it's like too much in your face. But then if he has the same photo, like 3-4 photos down, so like if you look and then you discover it, that's like more attractive. And it's the same photo, but it's just based on how you discovered it. Is that a thing, or am I just making that up?
I mean, I don't use dating apps to begin with.
You've never used it at all?
No, I've never used it at all. It's just
Okay.
I'd rather just meet someone. But I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter for me whether it's the first one or the one on the bottom.
Okay, fair enough.
Because
Maybe just in
it's
my head.
how you actually are. But maybe for other people, it's like a preference for them. You know, like yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Do you have a type?
I don't really have a type. I'm very open to anything.
To anything? No, not anything. Come on.
Not anything, but like I don't really have like a, oh yeah, I would go for this, because I'm just open to whatever I vibe to, you know. Like if I get along with you as a person, it doesn't matter like where you're from or anything like this.
Yeah, I hear that. What do you think is what's one thing do you think that guys tend to make a mistake about you?
That's a tough one because I've gotten a lot of different things over the time, but I A lot of people find me clingy, but I'm not actually clingy or anything like this. I'm just interested and just want to
Mm,
know things, and it's okay, like just normal anything. But for them, it can maybe seem a lot. But I
okay.
think that more just reflects on how much they're actually interested in me and what they're trying to get out of me. I think it does
Mm,
make sense of that. So over the time, I've actually realized who is
s-
actually serious and who isn't
serious.
serious. So it does reflect that, I feel like.
Yeah, I hear that. And what is it that you do that they perceive as clingy? Is it like texting all the time, calling all the time? Is it
I
asking
can
like,
be like a big texter if I'm interested, like I want to speak to you and everything. And I get it,
okay,
there's times where you're busy and stuff, but I've gotten a lot of like, oh, you're texting too much or you're doing too much and stuff. And it's just like, okay, cool. Like,
would you have an issue like if you text a guy, I know in the morning and he replies in the afternoon, would you have an issue with that?
not really. It's just more like a, okay, cool. Like if you're busy, like, hey, I just got a minute now. I was at work or something like this and blah blah blah.
Mm,
Then it's fine.
yeah.
Like a little update. It doesn't have to be a big thing. But again, it's more like how much they're interested in you as well. Because if they're really interested, I'm not saying they're gonna text you all the time, but they're gonna want to kind of update you as well. Anyway,
Update you
and
on
so
what though? Like,
like just if they're not able to get back to you, then they're probably gonna be like, oh yeah, cool. Hey, I was busy doing this and this.
so how long is an update required? So what I mean is this. Like, if you text a guy and he responds within the hour, he's not gonna be like, "Hey, so I didn't respond to you, right?"
No, not that. If it's like
Obviously,
I would say like a good couple of hours, and that's fair.
a
Like, cause
couple of hours.
a good couple of hours mean like maybe half of the day, and this could be more than 6 hours. I would say maybe. Like I could even be busy, and I might not get back to someone. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
But I'm not too fussed about it at the same time, because if it's like just beginning
interesting.
stages,
Yeah.
I'm not like pressed. But if it's like
Yes.
you kind of know what it is in a sense, I just feel like, okay, cool, like let me know what's going on. That's it's as
Okay.
simple as that for me.
Have you found have you found that that's like a running theme amongst guys in your experience?
What like
That they don't lean into texting as much as you do.
I've had a bit of experience in both. Like some
Okay.
people have and some people haven't, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a generalization, but I think texting takes more energy for guys.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because especially women that I've talked to, they will talk they'll have a couple of best girlfriends that they will talk to all day, every day. It's like what's going on that day, how she's feeling, all of this stuff. Guys, we are not like that. Like like my best friend, we've gone 6 weeks without saying a word. And then we'll just pick up where we left off. And then we've had weeks where we were chatting every day because something was going on. And so I think there takes more energy for guys to text and to like consistently communicate. Whereas like a lot of the time, girls will just chat just to chat because I'm just telling you how my day's going, or I'm just.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know
A
what I
hundred.
mean?
I actually do agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not a right or wrong thing, but I think guys have a different temperament to it. So while I agree that sometimes maybe someone's just not texting you because maybe they're not as into us as we think they are, it could just be like, oh, a guy just doesn't do that. Do you know what I mean? Or he just
It's
doesn't.
just
He's not
not
one of
his
those.
thing. I mean, I've had a couple of hours is not really a problem, or like most of the day. I've had people like not get back to me like within a day or two even. So I feel
Yeah,
like that's like taking the piss in some way.
I
But
agree.
again, reflects
Yeah, I think like within a day is reasonable. I think if it's like been over a day and someone's not
that.
got back to
Yeah,
you, then it's
I've had
like.
3 days once, and it was just like.
And did you just carry on a conversation like it didn't happen?
Yeah,
Or obviously like, sorry, I didn't get back to you.
I let that one go, but I see how I was
She
wrong
let it
about
slide.
that. I see how I was wrong about that. So yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I've had
okay.
some weird experiences.
I hear that. I hear that. How would you describe the dating landscape today?
I feel like everyone's just, you know what? I think a lot of people are quite honest about what they want and what they don't want, but like most
Mm,
girls, this is not me hating on like any girls in any way, but like we kind of seem to think in our head that we can kind of change someone or wait for them to change their mind or something. But it's
mm,
just like if a guy kind of told you he's not really serious or something like this, or there is sometimes very big indicators in front of us that we can see that are
yeah.
telling us. So it's just like a lot of people are just trying to go for someone that's like not gonna be available to them in that way.
Why do you think that seems to be quite a common thing? Where do you think that comes from? Why
What?
do you think girls are like, oh, he may say he doesn't want a relationship, but I'm gonna change his mind?
I think it's just we confused. So you know how like you can physically be like, obviously you could be hanging out with a person, they could be really nice with you, touchy, normal, just acting like you're in a relationship.
Yes.
It's that whole thing. Because for us, like girls, like we just like that, like
Yeah,
you're
of
open, you're
course.
talking to us, and you're just then we're gonna think, oh yeah, he's changing his mind. That's what usually happens, and I see that for
Mm,
myself as well, because I'm currently like just focusing on myself for once.
yeah.
So I'm just not even in that scene at the moment. But it's just like I can see where I would think myself, like, oh yeah, I think he's still interested or something. And there's
Mm,
little, like, even they could just be saying something, like being open with you, and you might be thinking, oh, he's opening up to me, but he's just talking to you. Or he could be lying, but.
yeah.
So I see why. I
Interesting.
see why.
Yeah. I think if a guy, obviously if he's lying, then that's wrong, right? If he's lying, that's just plain out wrong. He shouldn't do that. But if a guy is opening up to you about something, I think that is definitely an indicator that he's definitely getting more emotionally invested in you. Do you know? Because guys generally wouldn't. It takes a lot for a guy to open up to a girl.
Yeah, I've noticed they either like avoid the topic, or they just kind of don't speak much on something if they don't want to open up to you.
Yeah, because maybe the trust hasn't been established yet. Not that he distrusts her, but I think it takes a certain level of trust for a guy to.
How long would you say though would it take for
How
you to
long's a piece of
trust?
string? Um, Depends because there's levels of vulnerability, isn't there?
Mhm.
So there's difference between me, if we're talking, I go, oh, like I just had a bit of a crap day, and then me going, yeah, like my cousin's in the hospital and I'm really worried. Do you know what I mean? And I have to go sort that out. So I think it depends on the level of vulnerability it takes, but I think how long? It depends how much time you spend together and how much time you're talking, um, because some guys could open up within a month, but that's because you see each other 2 3 times a week. But then if you only see a guy once every couple of weeks, it's going to take much longer. And there's a level. I think guys have to earn vulnerability with women, and when I say earn that, there has to be a level of rapport there before him being really vulnerable about something is endearing to her, not putting her off.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
I
I think
agree.
I think too soon, I think it puts women off
Yeah, it's
because
very.
it can make her think, oh, is he okay? Like, is he stable or like is he going through issues? Whereas if she's been with him, over several months, I think a few months is pretty normal. I think a few months. Like, what's your experience been? Like, guys just don't open up at all, or
I've had them open up, but yeah, I think it took about that time, like a few months maybe or something.
yeah,
It just depends. Yeah.
yeah, of course. What's something you want to bring to the conversation? What's something you want to talk about or ask today?
Um, you know what? I'm not in a relationship or anything at the moment, but like,
Mm.
why is it that like when you kind of like the guy's really honest with you, and then you choose to walk away, they're trying to do all this like madness, like, oh yeah, no, like, why do they do that? Like, because I had this one experience, this guy, like, we had a conversation, and it was like, he was being honest, and it was like cool, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to see you anymore. And then he was like, oh no, why do you have to be like this and all this? Like, why did I do that? Like, I don't actually care anymore, but just
So, so what happened? What was he honest about with you?
he just told me like he wasn't really looking for anything like that, blah blah blah.
Serious.
Yeah, so he just didn't want a serious relationship, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna walk away because what
That's
can
what
I
you
do
want.
there?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
So why is he like trying to make you come back?
yeah, like what is the whole point of that? I don't get that at all. Because I've had that couple happen a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, because he may not want anything serious, but he still wants to spend time with you. And if you're being intimate, he still wants to be intimate with you. Do you know what I mean? That's why. And he's like, I don't want to lose not having that with her. But you're absolutely right that if you're looking for something and what he's looking for isn't lining up with that, then you're like, I appreciate our time together, but this isn't for me. Um, but let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I think the reverse is when a guy's friends with a girl that he is kind of secretly into, and she knows that
Oh, here
he's
we go.
into her, and maybe he does a lot of things because he's like, oh, he's trying to change her mind, right? Be like, oh, if I show how good of a guy I am, then maybe she'll, you know,
Being the nice guy, right?
right, yeah. But then when he accepts, like, okay, she doesn't want that with me, and then he starts going somewhere else, she starts to try and reel him back in. You ever? Why does that happen? Because
I
sometimes that
think us
happens.
girls like the attention, I can say, because I
Okay,
would actually openly admit I like attention.
sure,
So for
very nice.
me, if I'm in that situation, I think I would just like the attention of that, because you're not really together, but like the attention of it, someone just doing things for you,
Feels
you
nice.
would take that, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't do that because I feel like it's not right, like if you know
Mm.
you shouldn't try to lead someone on and make them go through that. It's just because it's
Yeah,
just as bad if it's the other way around.
yeah, of course.
But yeah, that is why I would say, because I think we like the attention a lot,
Do
so
you
we just
do
don't
you
know.
have male friends who you know like you?
I don't I don't know actually. I don't think I do right now.
As in, you don't think you have any male friends? You don't know if they like you?
I don't know if they like me. I'm saying I don't think they do.
Really?
I don't think they do anyway. I feel like you're about to say, oh, like if you message one right now and say,
Oh, I wasn't
can
gonna
I
say
please
that.
you?
Oh, I
I
wasn't, but
felt
that's a
like he
good
was.
point.
No, I felt like he was about to.
Oh no,
But yeah, I don't think I do.
what I was actually gonna ask was, did the friendship start with them trying it with you, and you were like, ah, no, I only see you as a friend? That's what I was gonna ask. But I'll ask you that next one after.
No, most of them were just normal interactions for me. Like,
Okay.
for me, I would say like I'm very selective with who I like to speak to and who I don't like to speak to.
Right.
So I don't know, I can't just be friends with anyone.
See, that's an attractive quality though.
I try to do that now because I see that back in the days, I would say like a lot of the time I would just, be friends with anyone, do anything because obviously I'm younger. But it's like
Mm,
as you get older, you have to really think about what you're doing.
right. Well, now I'm gonna ask you what you thought I was gonna ask you. So, if you did text them, if you text all of your guy friends, been like, hey, this might sound weird, but I've always kind of been a bit curious about you. When you come over, let's watch a film and see what happens. Do you think they would all say no?
I know some that would say, well, I know this one guy, I know he would say no.
Okay.
I know he would say no, but I don't know, like,
Why are you so sure on him?
because he's very like reserved as well.
Okay.
I've been friends with him for a very long time. He's very reserved. Um, I don't actually think he would do that. And if I did actually say that, he would probably be like, "Why are you saying this?" He's a very like upfront person. But I
Cool.
mean, the rest of my guy friends, I don't know. I couldn't say, to be honest.
Okay. Fair enough. I hear that. They probably would. They probably would. Let me ask you something. Um, oh yeah, I saw I saw your story yesterday on Instagram. You're like, either you share someone or you're single. What did you mean by that?
Honestly, I was just posting whatever came up. But I mean, in this sort of like in this whole dating thing right now, a
Yeah.
lot of the time you're just talking to one guy, but you're not like the only one that's talking to him. He's got options most of the time.
Yes.
But honestly, I feel at this point you're sharing someone because again, how they talk to you and how everything reflects everything about like what they think of you and everything. So I
Mm.
feel like it's obvious when you're being shared and when you're not. In a way,
Mm.
in a way.
No, I agree with you. I think I'll be honest. I think if you find a guy desirable and you know he is single, you should just assume that he is talking to other girls as well.
I would do that as well.
Because most guys don't have any options. Like most guys struggle hard.
I've actually one of my friends have told me that that's true. Like most
Yeah.
of the time, they do like the most too.
Yeah, 100%. Because no, I ask this all the time. Out of 50 guys who maybe will try and come up and say hi to you and approach you and ask you out on a date, how many of them do you look at and you go, oh yeah, I like the look and vibe of you enough that I'd go on a date with you? Out of 50.
I don't know. Probably I'm gonna say one or two right now.
Like one or two?
I
Yeah.
would say
No,
one or
that's
two.
fair. Yeah. Most women are like that. Out of 50 random guys who maybe will try and approach her, slide into her DMs or something, maybe 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 she'll actually say yes to. But the issue is the same guys you say yes to are the same guys she says yes to, she says yes to, she says yes to. So it is very likely that if a guy that you're talking to, that you're interested in, that you find desirable,
I'm
and
not
he
the
is
only one.
single, you're not the only one. Now I get it. You're like, oh, but as a woman, You know, if you're a young, attractive woman, I have options too, and I'm not talking to every guy. In fact, I get guys trying it with me all the time. But the difference is, it's very difficult for a man to be desirable. It's very difficult for a man to be in a position where he has options. And so, if he is in that position, he's going to indulge in them. Does that make sense?
Mm.
You know, and as long as no one lies, do you know what I mean? You shouldn't lie and stuff. But that's why if you start dating a guy after a few months and you know you want a relationship, it's important to have that conversation.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? What's one thing that you've never understood about men?
I wouldn't say I know with him, but
There's something that guys have done. You'd be like, why do most guys do this? Like, what the hell is this about?
I can't think of anything right now.
Nah? All right,
But
cool.
on a normal day, I probably could. But I actually have a question.
Go for it.
What is it with guys thinking nowadays that we want their money? In all honesty, I don't get that one, because the way I've been raised and in my culture, I've seen a lot of compromise and just people like my parents as well. They were together for a very long time,
Yes.
but they obviously not together anymore. And my mum compromised the whole time. I've seen it. So I don't know what it is with
Compromise
guys,
on money, you mean? Or
like just with the relationship as well, but
Yeah.
like obviously, yeah, sometimes money as well. So like, what is it with guys thinking that we want their money?
True.
Because I don't.
I think that a lot of women online express that they want a lifestyle, and the lifestyle costs money. So if a girl's like, hey, if a guy's trying to talk to a girl, she's like, look, I'm only going to talk to you if you're going to take me to A, B, or C, which is all cost expensive. He's like, well, clearly for me to have a chance with you, I need money. Or if like, you know, we see her like in hip hop, like, he got her a Birkin bag. Yeah, that costs money. Or if a girl's being flown out to somewhere to meet this Arabian prince because he's wealthy, right? Or if a guy has a nice car because he has money. If he has his own place because he has money. Like, a lot of things that men see online that women express that they want in a man in regards to what he can do for her are based in things that require monetary value. So, because the thing is, like, some guys, if they want to take a girl out, they'll be like, hey, let's go for a coffee date. And she'll be like, coffee? Now, you're taking me to a nice place for dinner. It's like the only difference between a coffee and dinner is the amount you're spending.
Yeah.
Because surely you should be meeting that person because you want to see if you connect with them, if you vibe with them, you want to get to know them. And that doesn't matter whether you're having a coffee, food, or just having ice cream. But then if men are seeing women are expressing a standard that requires him to make a level of financial investment, then yeah, guys are going to be like, well, clearly, like, if you're going to date, you're going to need to have some money. And I'll be honest, there'll be some guys that they're not even open to a relationship because they feel they're not in a good financial position. I'll probably say I'd be the same, to be honest. Like, especially if he's looking for something serious, because I think every guy wants to be the guy who's just got it for his girl. Every guy wants to be like, yeah, like, we're going to go out and I'm going to sort that. Or, you know, babe, we're going to go on holiday next month or something. So if he's not in a position where he can be the kind of man, the kind of partner in the relationship that he would like to be, then maybe he will not be open to a relationship. Because especially if it's like, because the thing is, most guys will have sex with anything, but they won't commit to anything. As in, like, it takes a lot for a guy to commit to one girl, right? If he has options. And so if this is a girl that he would like to have a relationship with and establish that with, that means he values her a lot, right? And so he doesn't want to mess up being the incapable boyfriend with this one girl, because he's like, well, if I mess it up with this girl, like, I'm going to lose the person that I want. So it's like, I'd rather go level up, then come back and be like, hey, this is the man that I can be in a relationship. And it's not all about money, but this is how guys think a lot of the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because like literally one of my friends was telling me like this girl, he was talking to her for a very long time, but they kept going on dates, but they were like fancy places and he would have to pay every time. And I feel like at one point, you're kind of being Like someone's actually trying to use you in it.
As in she was using him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 100%. So it was just like when he was telling me, I was like, "What do you mean? Like, that's mad.
Yeah.
How can you spend over so much, like, just on dates?"
Yeah.
And then she didn't actually like bring anything else to the table apart from just going on dates. Like there was nothing else. So yeah, that was definitely like, so it just made me think like there are people that use guys for money.
Yeah.
But
True.
I just never understood like why they would, because I personally wouldn't do it.
Well, like you said earlier, for attention.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get taken to these nice places. You feel good as a woman because the guy's taking you out. You're in these other circles. You could meet another guy in those
While
circles
you're on that date.
at that level. Do you know what I mean? That happens. So I'm using him as a ticket into these circles where I can find the guy I really want. Do you know what I mean? And this is why I say coffee dates are really good, not just for women, but for guys too. For women, because it's like, you're not going to be drinking, so you won't do anything that you won't regret. He's not going to be drinking, so you get to see whether you like each other. For a guy, it's like, it's a good test to see if she's one of those girls who's just looking for a free meal. Because if she is, she's going to say no. But if she's actually interested in getting to know you, it won't matter to her. That's what I think. What do you think?
I agree. I think yeah, a coffee date is not to, it's like cool. Like you
Yeah.
said, you're not drinking.
Yeah.
No one's drinking. It's just like you can also see if you vibe in it.
Yeah, 100%.
And then if she says no, like it's like okay, cool. Like
I don't even see it as like a date. It's just introducing yourself.
like just a normal conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go, oh, actually, yeah, I do want to actually invest and go on a date with this person or take this person on a date. Do you know what I mean? Let me ask you something else. What is the hardest thing about dating guys today?
I think it's that there's like unserious people out there, because you could be talking to someone, maybe you're getting to know them, and then they could just randomly drop out one point, like, maybe you're talking to them and they just drop like, oh yeah, I'm not like looking for a relationship. Like a lot of the guys just don't want a relationship, and it's just like very hard to find someone who's serious.
Yeah. What age range are you like looking at?
I mean, maybe around my age, and like maybe
obviously.
24, 25 at the most. I don't know. I don't really. I haven't went older, but yeah.
Yeah. Have you been in a relationship before?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long were you guys together for?
I think like 2 years.
That's really significant, especially.
I think
like,
it's 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. Most guys would take something serious. It's just not the guys that you're choosing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've come to realize that as well, because I've spent a lot of time by myself, and it's just like you can see after you have some time to yourself, you think, and it's just like, okay, cool, this person wasn't really interested anyway. When you have that moment to yourself, So I feel like maybe I've been told I have bad judgment, so
Oh, really?
I've actually been told that, and I was like, oh, okay, but I think that's true.
Okay, so what things have you reflected on that made you go, oh, actually, no, this guy wasn't for me, and I don't know why I thought he was.
I mean, the most recent one, it was just like I actually sat there and thought about it, and it's just like the whole thing, the way it played out, it just wasn't for me either. Because at the time I thought it was, because I was so invested in it. But it's like the moment I actually was out of it, it was like, okay, cool, like he wasn't for me because this isn't this. There were so many things I actually started thinking about, and it's just like, I often like to reflect anyway, but it's just like for me, it helps me because I'm not going to look for, or if I see any qualities like that again, I'm just going to not go for that because it's not for me.
Okay, what was the biggest thing?
There was a lot of jealousy, I think, and it wasn't even from my side. And it's like, this was one thing that confused me the whole time. So this kind of answers your question from earlier, what confuses me about guys. So I was talking to him for a while, but like he wasn't with me, that's fine. But he got jealous anyway about me just maybe speaking to someone or something like this. And it was a very normal conversation. Like, I don't know, he just got super jealous about things, and he'd always think I'd go for like one of his friends. And
oh, really?
yeah.
Really? That's
And
so specific.
all of his friends had like girlfriends as well, and one of them is actually currently married right now. So like for me, it was just very strange. Yeah, it was very strange, and it gave me, I think he was maybe insecure with himself, whatever it was. I don't.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But it was just very weird. So for me, like that was a really confusing thing, like why he was so jealous when he wasn't actually even trying to be with me. And I
Mm.
felt like he was trying to gaslight? He was trying to gaslight me into thinking like he would be with me at one point, so I kind of stuck around, but it didn't work because I just at one point I was just fed up of the whole jealousy thing and just like how he spoke sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was just very strange to me. I didn't get that,
That's so
to be
interesting.
open.
Yeah, for him to think that you were always gonna go for one of his friends.
Yeah.
Were his friends like really attractive or?
they they were okay, but I'm not trying to go for them because I was more interested in him.
Yeah,
I
of
was more
course.
like, for me, once I'm interested in you, like I don't really care about anyone else. Like I I will, like, if anyone's trying to speak to me, I'll be like, I'm kind of talking to someone. I'm in a situation like this,
Mm,
whatever. I'm not really interested, curve whoever. But it's just like I wasn't interested in them like that. I was
yeah,
good friends with them, but like I never liked them.
yeah.
So it was just a very strange
Did
experience.
you ever talk to them one on one?
There were times, yeah, but it wasn't like anything like that because I never.
But like when I say okay, when you talk to them one on one, what do you mean? As in like you were texting them?
Oh,
Did
like
you?
text? No, I mean in person. Because more
Oh yeah,
time,
of
yeah.
course. But it wasn't like you ever met up with them
No, no,
outside of him.
no. Because like obviously it was our friend group, you can say, but
Mm,
yeah, like more time it would just be me, like chilling with him and everyone else. Like
yeah,
maybe I'd have
that's so weird.
conversations with different people. You know, when you're in a big group, you're
Yeah, of
talking to
course.
different people. That's it. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit next to this person the whole night. Like,
Yeah, yeah, of course, of
and he was
course.
doing the same thing, so I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that does sound a bit, a bit
If you
insecure
have
to me.
no words, then I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think because it's funny because as human beings, even if we don't agree with something,
Hmm.
a lot of the time, if we can dig deeper, we can at least understand how they came to that conclusion. Do you know what I mean? Even if we're like, oh, I don't agree with that, but I can see how you went from A to B to Z. Do you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think like if you only ever hung out all together, and he wasn't threatened by their attractiveness, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is insecurity. Do you find that have you found that you fall for a guy easily, or does
It
it take a lot?
depends. Like, I think we was talking about this earlier, but I mean, I can move on quickly. And I can kind of go for anything if I wanted to. But at the same time, once I'm like very focused on something and I want this, I don't care about the rest. But I
So
can,
in
I can
quick but
fall
out
hard.
quick.
I can fall hard, but
Mm,
it just really depends what you're like as a person.
right, right. What kind of guy do you tend yourself being very drawn to that you do fall for?
I guess I like someone who's just as much as they're focused on like prioritizing me, but they're
Mm,
focused on their own things. Like, if they're trying to do something like
mm.
job wise, or they're trying to get up somewhere, like I don't know, trying to think of an
Someone
example.
ambitious,
Yeah, just someone
driven.
ambitious basically. Like I don't know, a fucking PT or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
There's just something like that you wanna do. Like you're very ambitious about it, but then you kind of can organize your time to do everything you need to do, but then also make time for me as well. But so
Mm,
someone who's just like doing those things because it inspires me as well. Because like if
mm.
I'm saying like, oh yeah, cool, I finished my degree or something like this. Okay, cool. Like maybe I want to study something that I want to get into. Like not the exact same thing, but
Yeah,
I might. So I like someone that inspires me as well,
yeah,
in a way,
yeah. Of course, I hear
if
that.
that makes
I hear
sense.
that. No, I hear that. What's one thing you would tell your 17-year-old self about men today?
To believe them when they say they're not ready for a relationship. Because I think that's one thing. A lot of girls, like you said earlier,
Yeah,
they'll tell them and then like they'll think like, oh yeah, I can change them. But it's like he literally told you he's gonna stick around for whatever he's gonna stick around for.
yeah,
It's up to you whether you choose to deal with it or not. And if you walk away, it's probably better. It will hurt for like maybe a while, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
yeah. 100%. I always say that a girl trying to change a guy's mind is her not taking no for an answer.
I would agree. I would
And
agree.
and I it's the same as when like maybe a guy approaches you and you're like, for you, you're just not really feeling his energy or vibe and stuff. You're like, thanks for coming up, but I'm just not really that interested. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna change your mind. Like that's him not taking no for an answer. Do you know what I mean? I think it just girls just end up getting themselves hurt
I
in doing
100%
that.
agree.
Do you know what I mean? Because I guess I know you tell me there's this fantasy that's built. I think we all build a fantasy, but I think there's this fantasy like, oh, if he can be the guy I want him to be, then it will be perfect.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if he's not there, like a guy will only change for what he wants. Now
Yeah,
it can
100%.
happen that he's like, okay, I want something serious. So now he's made a shift in himself. But unless he's there, he's not changing for anyone. Like, because it would be right for a guy to come in and say that you have to change for me if that's not you.
Because I adapt as well to a person. I think this is something I do early on, and that's why maybe it's a bit too much. I can see that now as well. But if like I'm interested in someone and they have a specific way of how they are, like I get inspired in it. Maybe I might get too inspired, and I'll start adapting to things like around his schedule, and it's not a bad thing. Maybe
I don't think that's
But
depending what you're doing.
but it
I don't think
but
it's a
it
bad
can
thing.
be bad if like the person has maybe like it's not even reached that level yet. Maybe
Sure.
so like just go at a slower pace. Like I was saying earlier, like take your time into getting to know someone and
Yeah.
reaching one point to another
Yeah.
So I think a lot of time we want to like rush it, like, oh, this person's cool, I've known him for 2 weeks, I want to be with him already. But it's like I think it's fun when you're uncovering a lot of things and it's like, okay, cool, I actually want to be with you because you went through
100%.
the little things, if
Do you
that
feel like
makes any sense.
Do you feel like you're kind of an all or nothing kind of girl?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm
I see
trying
that makes sense.
to not be like that, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah. And I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like once you're done, you're like cold turkey, like done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can turn my back and be like, I'm done with
It's
this.
like it didn't even exist to you. That's so interesting. Where's the middle ground for you?
What, like?
Like how do you be interested in a guy that isn't all in? And then also how do you take a step back from something that doesn't mean like they no longer exist to you?
I guess with the middle ground, so I did it the last time.
Yeah.
At first, like, obviously, beginning stages, you don't want to give all that. So, like, I might overthink, but I'll just, like, try to tell myself in my mind, I need to get from one place to another. I can't just go from A to Z.
Yes, 100%.
There's A, B, C, and whatever. So I feel like I'll just take my time in that, and I'll just tell myself that every time. And it actually eventually worked because at first I was a bit, I didn't let it show at first anyway, but I eventually got along with it. And I think it did work because the guy eventually kind of reciprocated energy in a way that I actually wanted.
Yes.
But it wasn't even me manipulating him. It was just me taking my time into getting there.
100%.
So
I also like when you're dating someone, it's kind of like you start at opposite ends of the bridge and the middle is the relationship. And it's about reciprocating the steps that you take. So it's like if I take one step, you take one step. If I take 2 steps, you take 2 steps. If I take 3 steps and then you don't take a single step, I don't move.
yeah,
Because we should invest in people not based on how much we like them, but based on how much they invest in us. And that naturally sets a good rhythm and pace for the intimacy that your guys are building towards a relationship. Because, yeah, you might be ready for something that he's not ready for. And he might be ready for something you're not ready for. Like, he's like, hey, I'm ready to sleep together straight away. You're like, we met an hour ago. Do you know what I mean? Or you're ready for a relationship in a week's time.
and to answer your other question,
Yeah,
like
go for it.
to go cold, I don't know,
Yes.
there'll be a lot of things I'll maybe have to put up with, like, I don't know, for example, the jealousy thing I was telling you about, and then just being like too much and everything. So I feel like maybe for a while I'll try to think, okay, cool, like why, I'll try to understand it. But
Yeah.
then once there's no understanding, we're not coming to some sort of like
agreement
in any way, like just a normal conversation where I'm trying to speak to and you're not really giving me that respect in any way, then I'm just gonna be like, okay, cool, like, you know what, I'll give it a while and then eventually I'll just kind of like remove you. Like it takes me a while to eventually do it, but I'll unfollow the socials, delete the numbers. I'll keep the pictures for a bit and then I'll just eventually delete them when I'm ready to. That's literally how I do
on
it.
your Instagram and stuff.
No, like just of him. Like if I have pictures
I
of him
see.
or whatever it is, I'll just eventually remove it when I feel ready. Because
You
I
like
know,
move everything to the junk and then it's empty junk.
yeah, honestly, it's the best way I think for me because the way I used to do it, just, yeah, you can't get over one man by speaking to another guy. Like that's what I would do back in the day, and it just isn't. It's not healthy, I guess.
What did you learn about yourself when you did that?
I don't know. I noticed I could move quickly, and I was like, okay, cool, this is good. But then it's like you still kind of think about it in the back of your head. But then I realized if I do it this way, Like, this is just my preference anyway, but
Mm.
I've realized when I do it this way, it's like I can still think about it and be like, oh yeah, this was a good time, but then I didn't like this, and this.
Yes.
I like to come to the whole situation in a positive way in my head, even though it turned out bad for
Yes.
whatever reason it did.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate that outlook. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Do you think that because thing is, I think not to sound bad, but I think being really hot and then so easy to be really cold, I think that can make some people hesitate the emotional security that they can have with you. Do you see what I'm saying?
You think so?
I think it can, just because, and I think this would really work for people who have a very anxious attachment
I would say I
styles.
have that.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, he doesn't want to piss you off or anything. Because if you suddenly stop liking him, then it's like blocked, delete, gone. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, do you say you have an anxious
I would
attachment
say I
style?
do, yeah, because I noticed that while I was speaking to the last guy, and it was just like I actually realized throughout that whole time what I need to work on about myself. So the whole thing was
Hmm.
a learning experience for me anyway.
Yeah, of
I feel like
course.
every experience is anyway,
Yeah, that's what it's for.
but
Yeah, 100%.
I've realized that, and it was just like when your anxious attachment style, it's just very, it's not good for you either, innit?
Yes.
So, and one of my friends actually told me about like all the attachment styles, and I learned from him as well. So it was like,
Mm.
okay, cool, like let me rethink how I do things, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be more peaceful for me.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I want to talk about when you were like, you either share a guy or you're single. And you're Muslim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in Islam, guys can have multiple wives.
4, yeah.
They can have four. Would you be open to being one of four wives for a man?
I don't think I don't think I would.
Okay.
No, but I haven't really thought ahead about my life about like marriage anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Do you want to get
no,
married or no?
I would, but I don't think I've met the ideal person to begin with
Yeah,
to
of
even
course.
get to that point. But I think I will. Obviously, I have to in my culture. But um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd be open to it. No.
No. Would you rather would you rather be one of two wives of a king or just the only wife of a peasant?
I think the only wife for a peasant.
Mm.
It's just because like I was having this conversation with my friend the other day. We were just talking about, would we rather have a guy who has money all the time and cheats on you, but then still, gives you stuff and gifts and goes out on dates, or would you rather have someone who's maybe trying to make it, but then he makes time for you and all this stuff? And then I was just like, yeah, I'd rather go for.
Let me alter that option. He's not trying to make it. He's just happy staying where he is.
Okay, so not
So there's,
ambitious,
because the thing
basically.
is, I ambition is attractive. I get it, but all ambition means is future success. So when you say I want a guy ambitious, you're like saying he doesn't have to be here now, but he has to be working to get there. So I'm saying that's why I altered the option. So it's like, would you take the guy who's there or who's here, but he's never gonna get there? He's staying here, but he's all the things you just said. What would you take then?
It's complicated because the other option isn't as good.
Well, yeah, but you can't have both ways. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's like? I'm just
What?
gonna say it's real. It's like saying to a guy, "Would you rather a girl who's really, really hot but gets loads of attention from guys, or would you rather a girl who doesn't entertain from attention from guys but she's really overweight but she's actually working to become really hot?" It's like
I get it.
you're
I
just
get
kind
it.
of in one option, you're just asking for the best of both, but you just have to wait for it. So
Yeah,
that's not really.
but
So you're not
that's
really.
that's yeah. Okay, I
Do you
see
see what
what
I'm
you mean.
saying?
I see what you mean now. I see what you mean.
So what would you choose then? The guy who's here and he's staying there, but he has more time for you in that sense, or the guy who's up here and he can bring things to you that most guys can't, but he may step out.
This is complicated.
I don't think it's complicated. I think it's hard. And I think the reason it's hard is because in both scenarios you have to accept something that maybe you
Yeah,
ideally don't want, but that's life, right? There's choices and trade-offs. So what would you choose?
I think maybe the guy who's not really moving anywhere.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
I hear
Yeah.
that. Would you ever provide for a man?
I don't see how it's bad not to, because I see a lot of
That's such a great
controversy.
answer. Would
No,
you
no, no,
provide
no,
for
no,
man?
no, no.
I don't
It really
see how it's
is.
bad not to.
Because a lot of
But
girls, like, they say they don't want to, and I get it. But I've seen my mom do it a long time, you know, like my culture and everything. I wouldn't
yes.
say it's like that with everyone in the, you know, South Asian community, but it's like, I've just seen a lot of compromise and stuff.
Mm.
So I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind helping someone, but it's like at one point you need to know what you're doing as a guy as well for yourself.
What do you mean?
Like you're saying provide for him, but like I don't see.
So what I mean, like for example, let's say you meet a guy and you know you have a great connection with him, but he just works at a library, very humble job, minimum wage or whatever. And in this climate, he's not gonna be able to afford to buy a house or a home or anything. But let's say the work you're doing, you're getting to the point where you can. And it's just like, okay, well, when it comes to the financial side of things, maybe you bear the majority of the burden in that sense, right? You provide most of that. So if you go on holiday, because maybe you want to go to Cyprus, it's like, well, he can't afford it on his own. So maybe you have to cover you and some for him. And when it comes to buying the house, like the home, it's like maybe you know, you fork up the lion's share of getting that place and stuff like that. So that's what I mean.
I don't know. I would say. I don't know actually.
It's
It's
hard,
just
isn't it?
it's a hard one because it's not like the worst situation, but it's just like if you have to do that every time.
But that's what guys do. Guys do that all the time, every time.
It's just giving me this just came in my head. It's just giving me like men becoming just because I don't know, back in the day it was a whole different thing, innit?
Sure.
Like it was very different to now.
hmm
I don't know. But
It's giving you what you're gonna say in your head. It's giving you like,
it's just giving like are men becoming the females or something? I don't know, just a little bit in my head.
I mean, it is more of the feminine role. That
It
is
is
true.
definitely a feminine role, yeah. That's what I mean. Like they're not actually becoming feminine, like yeah, but like
Well, some would say they are. You know, some would say that they're more feminine today. But
I don't know about the providing thing though. It's a bit.
do you know what's interesting? I get it, and it is a difficult question. I think what's interesting is that obviously I should go without saying we should all agree with equality and opportunity for men and women. But women have been able to take the positions of power and wealth that men have traditionally taken, but they don't want the responsibility of being the breadwinner in like a relationship or household. They still want the guy to do it. And so it's kind of like women have taken those positions, but men aren't allowed to take the feminine role. Like, okay, what if, because I don't know many women out here looking for a stay-at-home husband. Do
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? But there are
I
plenty of
see what
guys
you
who are very
mean.
well off. He'd be like, yeah, she could be a stay-at-home wife and she takes care of the home and I look after and everything and that's all she has to worry about, right? But women are actually out earning men now. You know, first time it's ever happened in history. Do you know what I mean? Women are killing it, especially women under the age of 30 are out earning their male counterparts. But when they go on a date, they still expect the man to pay.
I mean, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I think it's like it's choices and trade-offs, right? So if you want to be the high earner, the likelihood is that for the average relationship, if you're a high earner, you're going to be the highest earner. So I don't know. I guess I'm asking, I guess guys would ask, like, why is it so hard to be the provider if you have worked to be in that position and maybe he isn't? Do you know what I mean? What is something you want to ask?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like, with that whole thing, like I don't know. I guess in the end, I would end up doing it, like providing, because I've just seen it a lot. I
Mm,
guess I would in the end, because it's like, yeah, I'm thinking about it right now, but I think I'm used to seeing that in some way or another. So I think I eventually would. But
yeah.
yeah, I see what you mean though with the whole thing. Like we still expect them to do everything, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, it is quite hard for a guy. But at the same time, I'm not trying to take their money. So
No, of
that's
course.
just me.
I get that. Let me ask something else. Um, oh, yeah. So I saw another post. You have some great Insta stories, bro. I saw another post about guys getting finessed by girls out here.
Yeah.
So give us some girl game in terms of how guys get finessed by girls. And I'll
like
share something about how men finesse women.
like the one I was telling you just now. My friend, he was going on dates,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm sure she was maybe, I don't know the situation, but I'm sure she was maybe like saying certain things, or maybe like she seemed to be interested, but it's like,
She was giving him the hope that she
yeah,
wanted more.
because for him maybe like it wouldn't work now because they're not speaking anymore, but like maybe during that time it was hope, and he was like, okay, cool, like
I should still
I'm
continue
gonna
investing.
continue.
Yeah.
Maybe like I'm gonna get somewhere with this. Maybe we're gonna
Mm,
have sex or something, whatever.
100%.
So
That's what
like
the beginnings
maybe
thought.
it was like a more of a, yeah, there's some hope, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get somewhere. So I feel like we can definitely talk our way into getting that situation, like with getting finesse, like we can talk our way into it, or like, I don't know.
Mm.
I feel like we can be manipulative. I would say girls know how to manipulate.
I think yeah. When it comes to like emotional games, I think girls run circles around guys
We can do it.
heavily, heavily. Have you ever done anything like that?
I have, but I
It's
don't
honest of
like
you.
to. I don't like to do it though. I don't like to do it. It's not.
Like I can play and indulge, but I don't feel like I
I've
don't
done
want to do
it.
it.
I've done it, and I've realized after, like, okay, cool, like, I don't think that was a good idea.
What were you gaining by doing it when you did?
I was doing the manipulation to see, like, I'm just trying to remember why I did it, but like at the time, I think this was at beginning stages. I just wanted to see, like, if I said things in a certain way, like, my words,
Yes.
like, like, would he actually do the thing I'm thinking? So like, meeting up or whatever it was, I just wanted to see, like, oh, cool, is it gonna work if I say this or this? Like, it's just my
Right.
way with words. That's why I would do it. But in the end, the end result would, for me, I would want, it's just like the attention again. So that's why
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would do it.
That
Like,
makes
I would
sense.
just want it for the attention, but not because I feel like I'm not making sense now. But like the
No, go on.
attention for, like, I want to see if he's actually interested or whatever it is. If that makes any sense
Mm.
in any way. I'm just trying to remember because I've done this like
Yesterday.
summer this year.
Joking.
So yeah.
Okay. Is there any time where a woman is not manipulating for a man for attention or money? Is there anything else she could manipulate him for?
Is that me personally or like
I guess I'm
anyone?
just asking in general. Like, what
Mm.
else would women want? Because I think guys, the way guys finesse is usually for sex,
Yeah, of course.
like
That's the only.
consistent sex. Like, I don't really know. I guess money, but I think that's quite rare. I mean, not every guy can be the Tinder swindler. Not every guy's like he's that
It's
emotionally
true.
intelligent and you know understand women to that
I
degree.
mean, for me personally, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe there are other girls that maybe would say yes to like any other things, but like, I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, other than the fact of me like trying to meet someone or something, like I'm trying to see if they would.
Yes.
But that is the only thing. Like, I'll play games around it maybe, but that's like something I do in beginning stages. I wouldn't like do it again, like, and again, because it's obvious at that point what you're doing in it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you
Of
use the same
course.
manipulation tactic or whatever it is, but I don't think there's anything else you could kind of use that for.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Um, is it is it ever okay for a woman to trade sex for opportunity? Oh, let me rephrase. Is it ever okay for a man to exchange opportunity for sex? There's a reason I'm asking from the male perspective.
What kind of opportunities are we talking about there?
Okay, so let's say I'm biased because I'm an actor, right? So I'm thinking in this lens. Let's say a guy who is a director
Okay.
and a girl, young actress, right? And it's hard to break into this industry.
Oh, okay, that kind of
And
scenario.
she's like, okay. He's like, well, I can introduce you to this person,
But you have
but you have
to.
to do something for me. And then she goes, yeah, okay, fine, I'll do it. Is that, do you think that is something that is okay to accept as,
I would say no.
okay, even though they're both consenting?
No, of course, like, yeah, that's not a bad thing, like, consent everything, but I just think it's still wrong in many ways, because you're obviously using each other at this point, but
Yes.
and it's consent, of course, but I don't feel it's right.
Mm.
Like I have morals I try to follow.
Yeah, of
So
course,
I
of
just
course.
don't think it's right. I don't know.
This is a controversial question I'm going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman has done that, is it can she then cry wolf, saying like, oh well, this guy only gave me this opportunity because I had sex with him, so he's bad.
But you said they consented first, right?
Yes, they did.
So I feel like in a way you had to kind of accept that because you chose to make that decision.
Right.
Maybe it was like a. It depends what the situation was, you know. Like I don't know, was
Yeah,
it
I
like
agree.
a, you know, oh you have to do this right now or something. But I still think, yeah, you kind of put yourself in that situation.
Mm.
Um, and you can always say no to something because
You can
obviously
always say no.
it's
You
not
always
like
have a
it's not
choice.
like it was like a you have a gun to your head or something. But
Yeah.
you have a choice.
Yes.
But I just think in that situation it's not probably right. So
Yeah. I agree. I would never want any woman in my life to do that. Do you know what I mean?
what do you think about people doing that though?
I think let people, as long as you're both consenting, I'd say you do you, but then don't cry about it later. Don't be like, oh well, I did this and I got this, but this guy was in a position of power and etc. It's like everyone's trying to make it out here, and like another guy couldn't have offered him sex for it because he's not into men, right? And I think I think everybody knows it's a filthy deal. Do you know what I mean? Like almost borderline a sinful deal. You're trading sex for something that is not intimacy. But if you made your bed, lie in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you benefited from that deal, that interaction, then be own it and be like, yeah, that's what I did. If it comes out, obviously you don't want to. Most people wouldn't want you to know.
Does it happen a lot in the industry? I would say a bit of yes
Yeah,
and
I
no,
mean,
no.
listen, I'll just be honest. I won't. Obviously, I would. I could never say what show, or whatever. But I'm a straight guy in my industry, and I've been um, offered that only twice. But like, I'm not like a young, attractive girl. Like, just do you know what I mean? I've been offered sexual favors for opportunities, especially like abroad. Do you know what I mean? And I could have said yes, but I was like,
It's a bit mad though.
that's a bit mad. Because I'm like, how much? I know. For me, I just feel like you're selling your soul. It's like, how much are you willing to sell your soul for? I just don't think.
It's like
I
the
don't think you can
music
put a price
industry,
on it.
right? Do you think
Yeah.
that's true? All of that stuff.
I think some of it is true. Because I think if you want to test a man's character, you give him power. And I think too much power corrupts people.
100%.
Power often represents freedom. And I think we're living in a time where we have the most freedom, but people are most unhappy, and there's so many more toxic behaviors and patterns that we fall into.
100%.
And so I think sometimes that's not saying I'm saying we should limit freedom, but I think that having boundaries is important for human beings.
I think we forget that a lot.
Yeah, because not everybody is very. When you become an adult, you have to be your own parent, and not everybody are good parents to themselves. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I've got an exam tomorrow. Should I go out drinking tonight or should I study? I'm gonna go out drinking. Do you know what I mean? Because you have the freedom to do that. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but freedom is power. Like when you have power, it means you can do whatever you want. And in the West, we have a lot of power because we have a lot of freedom. And that has manifested a lot of toxic behaviors, patterns, and people. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to the music industry, and answer to your question, because they're so powerful,
Yeah, it's like anything's on the table at this point, right?
it's like, I don't know what they could want that they couldn't get. Did you hear what happened with Tory Lanez?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, he goes away for how long?
I still
When he
don't
wants
think
to go
it's. I
independent?
still don't think it's true.
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of it. Why don't you think it's true?
I don't know. I saw this thing like, I saw this video on TikTok. I don't know. Like they were saying like, oh, like Megan was lying or something. But I just feel like the whole situation is just no one knows because no one else was there apart from the people that was,
Yeah, but like he,
and you never know.
how long did he got more than 10 years for apparently shooting her in the foot.
Yeah.
Like people,
Did he have
pe-
like a license for the gun? Because I don't know. Maybe he didn't have one for that. Or I don't
oh, I
know.
actually don't know. But I mean,
I think
people
it
have
depends.
gotten less time for worse. I just see that seems a bit extensive. Like that seems a bit extensive. Like I
Like a
think someone
rapist
could.
would get less than that, right?
I even think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a rapist gets less than that.
I still find that.
That's mad. That is actually mad. Is there anyone last thing you want to ask? I've got one more question for you. Anything that comes to mind?
Not at the moment, actually.
No. Okay. I have to ask this because this came up yesterday. Does our sexual history matter?
Okay, fair. I don't think. Okay, I don't think it matters because if you're trying to actually talk to someone,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was saying this yesterday, but like, if I want to know your body count and you want to know mine, I just feel like that's already gonna have so much curiosity in both people's minds.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Obviously for a guy, it might matter. I think it does maybe for the guy,
Mm.
just because I don't know, like you want to make sure you're not with someone that's just been with the whole fucking whatever,
Town.
you know? Yeah, or something like this. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just think, like me personally, like the guy I was speaking to, I never asked him, he never asked me, and it was best that way. Like, we don't need to know each other's thing and be more curious than it is. Because what I know yours, okay, cool. So what is this, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's going to be so many questions and there's going to be a whole different conversation that comes out of that. And it's like, is it going to be worth it with, that's just what I think.
I agree. I don't think you should ask. Okay, let me ask you this. If you were dating a guy and he had slept with men before, would you want to know?
Mm, I see you got me there.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking a question. Would you want to know?
uh, I guess actually no, curiosity is my big thing, so no, probably not.
You wouldn't want to know.
No,
Okay, cool.
because me, my curiosity, I'm very like I want to know something. But yeah,
Yeah,
would you want to know if the person you're getting with like has been with like
women.
yeah?
If she had, it wouldn't matter to me. I think for women, it matters to them if a guy had been with guys before, and I think most would want
Or
to
like
know
a transsexual person or something.
if they'd been with a transsexual person or if they were one.
No, if they've been with them, if they've been with one.
Why would you want to know that?
I don't know. Just asking a question. What question?
Oh, if she'd been with, no, I don't think I'd care that much. I think I'd be like, oh, that's interesting, but I don't think I'd be like, I need to know that. Would you need to know?
I don't. Yeah, it's the same thing for me. I don't think I would. It's again, like you said. I don't think it's very relevant. You know.
I think it's
But
relevant.
well, why? Well, why do you think it's relevant?
I think our sexual history matters in different ways.
Okay.
But I think maybe the value we place on how much it matters, I think that's what the argument is.
Mhm.
I don't think it's like, oh, it should matter or shouldn't matter. Bottom line is it matters to 99% of people. Different people have different standards. Do you know what I mean? Some women, they don't care if a guy's been with guys. Some women, they really do care. And they're like, I need to know. Because for most, it just put them off. For some guys, like a girl's body count really matters. Be like, if she slept with 20 people, I'm out. And some guys, they're just very like liberal and they're like, nah, if she's been with 50 people, calm, she's with me now. Do you know what I mean? But I think it does matter, but I think it's just the argument is like, how much does it matter?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I would agree to that
How
as well.
much value do we place on that? Is there any number of women a guy would have been with that would make you go, ugh, like that, like
This is
put
why
you off?
I don't want to know, but is that a number? I don't know. So I'm 22. Let's say guy's 23. If he says like, I don't know, let's say 50, like that would be a lot. I would be
Mm.
curious about it. Maybe a little bit put off, but
Why would it put you off? I'm not saying
just a
you're wrong for
little
that.
bit.
I'm just asking.
Why? I don't know. I guess it's just because like you've been around so much or whatever maybe their relationships, some of them were. Like why would it even like, you know, because you're getting with someone else now, like would the sex even matter to you as much anymore? Maybe that's why it would matter to
Mm,
me. Okay, I see what you mean now. But like maybe that's why it would matter to me just a little bit, because like if your body count's really high, I wouldn't say 50, I don't know, maybe 50 is high, maybe it isn't,
I
but
think that's quite high.
yeah, like does sex even matter to you in the same way anymore? Like,
Big
or is it
facts.
just something you're doing for the sake of doing? But again,
I agree.
doesn't them asking the question like reflect how much they're interested in you? Because like if they're asking you that, aren't they just trying to get with you? Because I've heard that apparently if a guy's asking you body count, then it means um they're trying to get with you.
As in just for sex
Yeah,
or
as in
relationship?
just for sex. Yeah. Would you
I'd
agree
say
with
it's
that actually?
opposite.
Yeah.
Because if he's just looking at you for sex,
He wouldn't really ask you that,
he
right?
wouldn't care about your body count. Because he'd be like, well, I'm not planning to stick around anyway.
But yeah, yeah.
It's actually, if he's looking at you long term, he's like, I need to know, has she been around the block? So
Okay.
it's actually, the more he cares, the more he's looking at you seriously. Like, that's chances are. If he really doesn't care,
That wouldn't even be, yeah, because I
that
think,
is like, well, I'm just here to hit it and quit it.
am I right to think that guys only question certain things because they just want to know and they actually care about certain things? Like this, for example.
I think it's dependent on the guy.
Okay.
I think some guys have different standards when it comes to this.
Mhm.
Most guys do care, but to what degree do they care varies. Some guys use it as a way to either qualify or disqualify a woman. So be like, oh, she seems really cool and stuff. How many people you slept with?
Like girl one,
15.
two,
Oh,
three, and
nah, I'm
four.
out. Huh?
Like girl 1, 2, 3, and 4.
If a guy's got a rotation, could be, yeah. So be like, okay, cool. Like, she slept with loads of people. That's a girl that a guy
Girl
could be
3.
like, I'll keep as an option, but wouldn't take seriously.
Yeah.
Some guys do that. Some guys, it could be just curious, It can be curious, but it's usually to, if they ask, I just don't think you should ask, but if they do, it's usually to either qualify or disqualify her for a relationship. And
Of
then seeing, is
course.
she like casual fun or is she like serious? Do you know what I mean? Listen, we're gonna wrap it there. Thanks for sharing your energy with us today. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. If anyone wants to find you online, where can they find you?
So my Instagram is at babygirlnaz.
Baby girl Naz. We
Yeah.
love it. We love it. Well, thank you for coming on, guys. Go show some Naz some love from us. Give us some likes, a few follows. We appreciate you for coming on and sharing your energy with us today. So thank you for that. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.